We are going to start our meeting back up at 6 o'clock. Welcome everybody. Thank you for coming today. The board met in closed session and we will be going back into closed session after this meeting. With that, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance led by our students from Lindo Park.
Please stand, take your hats and hoods off. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We have a packed house here. Thank you, board members, superintendents, assistant superintendents, and community for being here tonight for my presentation for Lindo Park Elementary School. We have a Falcon Pride motto at Lindo Park, and it is at Lindo Park we pride ourselves in working together, building strong systems, fostering strong relationships with our students, our staff, and our community. And today we have a presentation for you from our Lindo Park Drama Club. They are going to be singing you a song this evening. So we hope that you sit back and enjoy.
We're not strangers to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want
So, tonight, we are going to take you through some highlights at Lindo Park Elementary School that's been a progressive over the last 3 years that we've really worked hard on our systems in place. I will share with you our Soaring High. We've been using that as our Soar High motto for the last 3 years, and our PBIS systems in place that have made our achievement growth phenomenal this last 2 years. So with that, we're going to be looking at our ELA and our math and our social emotional. And part of that was our drama club, and we'll be showing you some of our promo club, which we started this year to really promote Lindo Park, and we will be showing you some of those videos. With PBIS, this has been our heart and soul for the last, I would say, 3 years. We've been really digging deep to put systems in place. We've been noticing that our students before weren't coming to school ready to learn. They weren't coming to school happy. So we said, we need to change some things. We need to make it so that they want to come to school. They want to come to school to be happy. This is a safe place for them. So we implemented what we call our Friday Pledge. This is our 2nd year doing it. We've also implemented what's called the Golden Falcon t-shirt. And in there, that's if you're a Soaring High Falcon, you're following all of our rules, you're academically you're doing well, you're being kind to your friends, they get a Friday, during Friday Pledge, they get a golden shirt. And our goal is to have a sea of gold on Fridays when we do our Friday Pledge. And then we added our trimester attendance trophies as well as awards. And with that, I will show you, this is a clip of our trimester 1 awards that we did with our promo club.
Hello, Lindo Park Falcons. It's your friendly counselor, Mrs. Garcia. We wanted to say a huge thank you. Thank you. Thank you. To all of our students for working hard and soaring high every day.
Being a great term to everybody here in our classes has gone up by 325 lifestyle points. They are always providing a helping hand when needed. Chloe,
Nadia, Oscar, Aiden,
Ariana, Nathan, Ishmael,
for our math award, we have Titus, Chantal,
Sophia,
Savannah.
Dalton, Juliana,
For our Soaring High award, we have Jane,
Dara, Isaiah,
Georgie,
Kevin, Hector moved up 225 points in his lifestyle. Miss Jade, Vicky, Dr. Miss Reese, for being the rocket for the pizza. Amy, for helping hand in math.
Juliana,
Jesse,
Mason,
Jeremiah,
Lexi, Tatiana, Atreyu,
Miss Leilani,
Alex Cruz,
super helpful,
Brooke,
Monica,
Isel,
Desire, Ahsoka,
Kensington,
Silas,
Landon.
Cortez, Jonathan,
Cassandra. She's an incredible peace builder
achievements and excellence in math, Maylani,
with incredible growth in oral reading fluency.
We hope you had fun and enjoyed our awards week. Until next time, we will see you for our trimester 2 awards. Bye, Falcons. Soar high.
So as you can see, we are consistently with that theme, and our students are coming to school and they're like, we're soaring high, Ms. Green. I'm like, yes, you are, every single day. I wanted to go over now our ELA goals that were in our SPSA. And our goal was by June 2025, every student's going to meet or exceed expected growth in ELA across the reading strand as measured by MAPS. Some of the goals that we use to support this is that we have all students have access to the district-wide adopted curriculum, which is Wonders. And now we are actually doing a deep dive into our Wonders curriculum with our kindergarten team, who's really looking at it and then separating it by unit, and then pairing it with our Letters program. So we're really trying to use what we have and then implement it with fidelity. Students also have the access to Imagine Learning in grades K-5. We have been using our Achieve 3000 in grades 2 through 5. I know it's really set up for grades 3 through 5, but my 2nd grade team took it on and said we want to also do it as well. So we've seen tremendous growth with that. And these programs really provide remediation to close our achievement gap that we have. And then we have a learning loss teacher, which has been able to pull groups, small groups in our primary grades. And then we have also designated ELD time, which is 30 minutes daily with our ELD students. And we have an increase in our EL and our Promise student scores as well, and I'll be showing you that next. So here is our evolution of ELA data from the last 3 years with our CAS scores. As you can see third grade went down a little bit this year, or this last year, 25. They had 27%. But if you look at our fifth grade, we went from 14 to 31%. That's huge growth with our students. And I have to honestly say, it's targeted to our students having fun in the classroom. They're doing more reading groups, they're doing more communication, and we're doing less iPads. A lot of group work. Overall, for my grades K-5, we went up 7 points from 21% to 28%. That's also including my EL students, which we have a high percentage rate of EL students, as well as my students with disabilities are also included in these numbers. So we are on the rise of making tremendous growth in the future. Here is our MAP scores. We also improved. We went from 32nd to the 37th percentile, and overall in our school, K-5, we are at the 49th percentile, which is 1 away from the national norm. Which also, if you can see that, we have tremendous growth in all of our grade levels. And our math goal, by June 2025, every student should meet our expected growth with our math strand. What we're using in our math is our everyday math curriculum, at least 3 times a week, math fluency. We're using a program called Reflex Math, along with our Imagine Math. I also have to say that this is the area where our teachers have said, you know what, we're gonna start doing centers in math. They put away the iPads and they're not doing the remote, learning with math and whatnot. They are actually having the kids do rotations and centers and leading their own learning. They're pairing with them, they're goal setting. So this is the work of the teachers and the collaboration that we're doing during PLCs when we're looking at our data to show we need this growth in this strand, and that's what they're meeting the needs of our students at that time. This is our CASP scores. So, and if you can see for third grade, they were at 13% in 22-23. They rose to 27%. Our fourth grade went down. Our fifth grade went from 3% to 10%, and overall we went from 13 to 18%. So as you can see, our third grade is rocking it. And to me, the growth that we're making with all of our students is just, again, like I said, our students with disabilities is included in this, our EL students, our students at our Promise, they're all coming together to really work hard in their classrooms with their teachers. And in our MAP scores, this, to me, when I showed our staff, they were super thrilled with this. They went from 32nd percent to the 35th percentile, but overall, with the whole school, K-5, we were at the 60th percentile, which to me is the high academic growth that we're looking for. And the teachers were celebrated, the students are celebrated, and I know there's a video going to be shown soon of one of our teachers celebrating with their students their academic growth that they made. And our last goal is our SEL, our Lindo Park Falcons Soar High in Excellence. Again, it starts with our PBIS from the ground up, our attendance and our referrals, and I did write down because I have to read it all because it's something that we put in a lot of work and effort. And it's a list of all of the things we put into place for PBIS. So this year we have posters in the hallways, by the bathrooms, on the playground, and in every single classroom of our rules and expectations of what our kids is expected of them to be a Soaring High Falcon. It is all the same common language, so the kids are using it, the teachers are using it. We have Student Center Falcon Store on Monday, so to help with our attendance, we have that on a Monday, and our Friday Pledge on Friday. So those are our 2 days that we noticed that our attendance was low, so we wanted to have something engaging for our kids to come to, and then during the week, we just make it so fun for them to come. We create student and staff videos with our promo club. We have mini counseling lessons with Mr. P and our counselor, who go into classrooms and do mini lessons if we need to help with student SEL. We use Second Step. We have a PLC behavior discussions in our PLCs for Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 students. Create strategies that we put into effect immediately with our PBIS team that we meet monthly. We have BIA support monthly meetings on Mondays also to support our high flyers at Lindo Park. We have what's called an A-team PBIS team, which is our boots on the ground when we need it. If we don't have the extra support, these are my A-team that they're called and they know what to do. We have our referral process is that we do our low levels first, and that's a progressive discipline model. We look at restorative practices for our students, what's going to best serve every student, and not everybody gets what, they get what they need. For our attendance, it's Friday Pledge, we get trophies. They have certificates for food when they get their certificates. We have soap the principal, hide the principal, and hide the PE teacher. So those are some fun activities, and I am more than willing. This year I'm getting slime, so I'm super stoked about it. And our teachers are working together as teams when they need the buddy system. That is also something that we have put into place. So our attendance, we went from 91% in 22-23 to 93% in 23-24. As you can see, we have every grade level increased in attendance rate this year. And then with our office referrals, and this was in 22-23 from the time of September to December, we had 21 major referrals, which were the major instances that happened, and that decreased tremendously by 11 students getting a major referral from the same time, September to December this year, with all the implementations that we've had in our systems. And with that, we had a great video put together by the cooks, so thank you, wherever you are. Thank you. This is our promo club. We would love for everybody to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We are been putting out a ton of videos of all of our fun and exciting things that we're doing at Lido Park. And this is a video just to kind of show what our promo club is all about.
So I really wanted to think of a way that families in the community can be involved with the amazing things we're doing inside the school and inside of our classrooms. So I thought, what better way than videos? We want to try to make these promo videos very fun and very engaging. That's like the biggest thing. We want to incorporate the community so they can see what we're doing in school, but we also want them to be fun. So they engage the community, they engage the families.
So for every video, we plan and practice every time, multiple times to make sure we get the right shot, because it doesn't always happen in one shot. We practice this video 3 or 4 times for recess, and then each recess we keep practicing until we get the right shot, and we record it until we get it right.
So it is very simple. We record all on our phones and we edit all on our phones. So anyone could start promotional videos, anyone could start making fun, engaging videos just on their phones.
Being a new member here at Lindo Park, coming into this school with such a wonderful and amazing environment, seeing teachers who are just so passionate about their students and engaging families outside of the school is just absolutely amazing. I'm truly so blessed to be a part of it here.
It's like crazy because like normally people would think like teachers are like the worst because they're so like strict and stuff, but no, they're actually like really kind and really cool.
I definitely feel like our videos welcome the community and show them that we want everyone involved. We want them to see what we're doing. We want them to see what we're learning. We want them to see the fun games and learning activities and exercises in our PE program. We're proud of it. We're proud of what we're doing at Lindo Park, and we really want everyone to see that.
So I am super proud of my team, all of them. I do have some new teachers, and I have to say this because this hit home with our students that come to us to school. One of my newer teachers came to me and said, and deer in headlights, and said, I think I'm teaching over their head. I don't know if I'm connecting with my students. And I said, stop, take a step back. Get to know them, build those relationships with your students, and then once you build that, they will work for you no matter what. This teacher sat and ate lunch with their students every day. They played outside recess with them every day, and he built connections, and they have the highest score in 5th grade right now. So I just think that they will work for you if you love them and you care for them, and that's what we do at Lindo Park. So thank you very much for your time. Do you have any questions?
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you for your work.
Yeah, thank you. It looks like they're having a great time with shows and everything else.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, with that, we are going to move on to a public hearing. So we are going All right, we're going to conduct a public hearing pursuant to Education Code 47605B to consider the renewal petition of Verona Charter School, formerly known as Verona Indian Charter School, for the period of July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2030. So we're going to have a presentation by Principal Julie Cushman and Verona Tribal Council Chairman Raymond Welch. Please come on
Oh,
as well.
good evening, President Moyer and the Board of Trustees. I am Raymond Welch, Chairman of the Verona Band of Mission Indians. I also get the honor to serve as chair for our charter school. I'm here to humbly ask you to renew our charter school for another 5 years. The school is a vital part of our community and the surrounding communities. It is a place for our children to learn a native culture, traditions, and history, alongside with essential skills they need to succeed in the modern world. Our board, our staff, and our community sees firsthand the positive impacts this unique educational model has for our students. We see the pride in the students' eyes, the confidence they carry, and the connection they feel to their native culture. Over the past 5 years, we've overcome challenges, learned from our experiences, and with the hard work of our dedicated teachers, staff, and parents, have emerged stronger and more determined than ever. Renewing our charter is about building on our successes and ensuring our future generations of children have access to the educational opportunities that are only offered at the Verona Charter School. We are grateful for the over 20 years of partnership and humbly request your approval for another 5 years. Thank you for your time and consideration. And I'll end with Yea Hun, which means my heart is good.
Thank you for having us. I also want to thank, I have a huge audience here in the back that is here to support the school. We have additional board members here. I have staff and parents here that is a huge support to our school, and I want to thank them all for coming and being here to support us tonight. I'm going to start off, yes, we did go ahead and we knew that we were going into a charter renewal, and we went ahead and our board was very positive and very supportive in changing the name of the school. And we, formerly known as Verona Indian Charter School, we are now Verona Charter School, and this is our new logo. So we're really proud of it and really happy with it. Student culture and climate. We are in our 3rd year of Leader in Need. It is a program that has been essential in teaching our kids to be leaders in their community. They are setting academic goals, they are looking at what school culture looks like, and they're getting out into the community, and they're actually becoming great leaders within the community, but within our school too. It's great to see the big kids with the little kids, because we are K-8. Facilities. We have made a lot of changes over the past 5 to 7 years. We are really proud. We have a brand new cafeteria. We have been wanting this for a long time. It's in that little picture right there in the corner, down at the bottom. We put in more security fencing. We put in a new PA system. We really looked at and amped up our security and made our campus more secure and safe for our students, because that is something that our parents, stakeholders, the kids really, really wanted. We also, this last summer, took out numerous eucalyptus trees to make the playground more safer for the kids. So really looking at safety issues and upgrading our facilities. Academics. We are continuing year after year to increase our test scores. We were doing NWA, max testing. We have transitioned to iReady. We felt it was more parent friendly. Parents can actually see where their kids are at grade level. The kids are doing fantastic with it, and we are seeing huge amounts of growth in our students. We continue to do and focus a lot on project-based learning. Where we are at up there, we have so many opportunities for our kids through the museum, getting the kids to do projects. We've done a lot of different things. There's a video at the end that you'll see, because I can stand here all day and sing the praises of our school, but the ones that you're going to want to hear from at the end are the kids. So, we are in a very unique area. We are attached to the Verona Cultural Center and Museum. And in our charter, it states that the kids learn about Khmer culture. And Lori Egan-Headley, who is the curator, director at the museum, she has collaborated with us, and our kids have had so many great experience to get out and see the real world. They have they did the seed library that's up there at the school with the Audubon Society, and they've been working with the Audubon Society down in Mission Bay. So lots and lots of opportunities for our kids to get out and take what they learn at school and apply it to real world circumstances. That came out a little off there. Enrollment and attendance. We knew going in that attendance, like everybody, can be an issue. And knowing that, we put different things into place. We hired Dr. Nina Dramisi. She is our family resource coordinator. She has been a person in this community for years. She knows a lot of the families. She works with the families. We have a lot of supports in place for these families to try and get these kids to school and let them know how important education is to their kids. Our staff. We have, I think, the most fantastic staff in all of Lakeside. They support me, but mostly we work as a team. And I think that's the most important thing, because ultimately at the end of the day, we're there for the kids. And in the last 7 years, we've been able to offer all of our employees health benefits, a competitive salary schedule, and my philosophy is if you invest in your staff, it carries over to the kids. And so there's different opportunities for professional development for our staff, and letting them know that they're supported. And that shows in our kids and our kids' successes. And that's it for the slides, but I have an amazing video that Ron and Karen Cook put together for us. They have been busily up there doing videos for us since the beginning of the school year. I love that they showcase our school. I love that everybody gets to see what we do up there. And that is it for me, except for our video, and that's it there.
Hauka, welcome to Verona Charter School, a place where academics, creativity, and Khmer culture thrive.
My favorite thing about Verona is that it's really small, so like everybody knows each other and like everybody has a special bond. This is a place that we all know that we're loved.
I really love the teachers. They're all so sweet and kind. And they try to do everything they can to make school not boring.
I like how we learn a lot. I used to never like math, and that was my favorite subject. Art, math, social studies, science, and I love pre-choice because I get to color.
You can just walk into school expecting a fun and happy day. We go on a lot of field trips to some pretty amazing places. so parents feel welcome and appreciated. Parent volunteers are the best. We're so grateful for this beautiful campus.
And we have a wonderful cafeteria.
This is our most recent addition, and we all just love it.
We don't have to stay outside in the cold. And stars are highly recommended. My favorite thing about this school is the playground. There's a lot of people to play with, and I love sharing friendship with my friends.
My friends are so meaningful to me, and I'm so glad that I get to spend my every day with them. We take a lot of pride in keeping everything maintained and clean. I mean, seriously, look around. Isn't this place beautiful?
We have a very special partnership with Miss Lori from the Verona Cultural Center and Museum.
And I listened to my elders tell stories. Sometimes they told stories that have been told for countless generations.
She is the heart and soul of our cultural education here.
We get to learn about Kumeyaay people, like what did they do, their impact on this earth.
We learned about how they make stuff.
And I think that is so cool.
I love that how Miss Lori, she teaches us Ipaya language.
And we get to learn the names of animals and Hatapa, Kasuyo, all that good stuff.
Learning our culture honors our ancestors and protects our future.
You can't get that sort of education anywhere else. At Verona Charter School, we passed by learning from our ancestors, embracing our culture, and staying connected to our community. At the same time, we work hard in the classroom, explore new ideas, and prepare for the future. Here, every lesson, every tradition, and every experience shapes who we are and who we will become. Thank you for supporting the school where together we are building something meaningful for generations to come.
Numa. You did good.
Thank you for considering us for the next 5 years. We have a very special place up there, and I hope that you consider us for our charter renewal, and please come visit.
Does anybody have any questions?
No questions, just thank you for all you do. And, you know, if you look around the county, the Verona Charter School is a unique gem of our district. I don't think there's many other districts that mix culture and education together, and so I'm grateful for all the work that you do, and I'm excited you're here in Lakeside, so thank you all.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Slide on the back, but you do have quite a gem in Miss Lori, by the way. I get to work with her in a lot of different aspects, and you really got a good one there. All right, with that, we're going to have public comment on the renewal petition. Do we have any public comment?
We do. We have two. Miss Lori, you want to come up?
Hello, thank you for having me. I am Lori Egan Headley, the Director and Curator of Verona Cultural Center and Museum. And as you know, our mission at the museum is to educate about Kumeyaay people, their history, their culture, and our partnership with the Verona Charter School is a source of immense pride, as you can see. Together with the museum and the school, we have created a national award-winning, one-of-a-kind curriculum that you won't find anywhere else. As museum director, I play two roles. I get to serve the charter school students in two ways. In the library, I'm more than just a librarian, I'm a connector of culture. I use our curated collection to teach Ipaya language skills and explore other diverse cultures. As their culture class teacher, I spend 30 to 45 minutes weekly with each grade, K through 8, using primary and secondary sources to teach Kumeyaay culture and history. Our culture class program is based on transformative learning theory and is infused with Kumeyaay philosophy, and it builds upon learning each year, culminating with an 8th grade heritage project. These projects often partner with prestigious institutions like the San Diego Natural History Museum, the Museum of Contemporary Art in La Jolla, and these require our students to share their knowledge as is a Kumeyaay tradition. This progressive program is a model for San Diego State University teacher credentialing students who consistently praise its impact. Educators frequently express the need for similar programs in all schools, recognizing the invaluable gift of cultural enrichment. This program is vital. This program is impactful. This program is necessary. I believe in it so strongly that I enrolled my own daughter at the charter school this year just for the opportunity to be a part of this great place. Yeah, hun.
Thank you.
And Jamie Beach.
Excuse me, forgive me, I am going to read. Those who know me know I would much rather sing than speak, but here I am speaking. That shows my love for Verona. So, my name is Jamie Beach. I am privileged to serve as the resource specialist at Verona Charter School. I am honored to share some of the incredible work that our school does, and our partnership with Lakeside Union School District has allowed us to create a more inclusive, innovative, and high-quality learning environment for all of our students. Our work is meaningful because we recognize that every child is unique. Our program's flexibility allows us to tailor instruction to meet the needs of our students, especially in special education. These are children with dreams, talents, and potential. We firmly believe that every child deserves, goodness, why'd you have me do this? Access to rigorous education, no matter their challenges. I wear my heart on my sleeve and my shirt. Our two dedicated case managers provide the support and consistency our students need to thrive. We do not do this alone, however. Our parents are essential to our process. We keep them informed and involved at every step through frequent meetings, open communication, and great collaboration. We also provide a strong system of accommodations and modifications, ensuring that every child can engage with the curriculum in a way that is meaningful to them. We prioritize celebrating every victory, big or small, because every step forward builds confidence and fosters a lifelong love for learning. Through collaboration and dedication, we have reached and supported a diverse range of learners, and we are excited to continue this meaningful work with your help. Thank you for your time and commitment to ensuring every child can succeed.
Do you have any other comments? All right. With that, we are going to close our public hearing and move on to trustee reports. Clerk Bennett.
Hello, good evening, nothing from here.
Member Hayes.
Yes, good evening, everybody, and thank you for members of the public, and thank you to our presenters this evening. Thank you for all the great information about our awesome schools. So just a couple updates for you. For the month, I was able to attend the first ever book club for the district and for the Anxious Generation. Very interesting book and certainly great discussion. I sat at a table with a parent from TDS sharing her experience with her daughter and son. So it was very good to hear all that information about why technology and the impact of technology on kids, so cell phones and other things. I also attended the funeral for Terry Berkeheiserling, a Lakeside fixture here in Lakeside, and she was a big proponent of the library and the skate park and many things that help our youth. And so it was well attended, fantastic event honoring a great lady. So I was very happy about that. And that's all for me this evening.
All right. Member Casper.
Yes, thank you again, Linda Park and Verona School. A couple of things that I had the opportunity, also the book club was held recently, Anxious Generation. I recommend every parent read it, get it. It really deals with not just cell phone, but social media and the challenges of that. And this person is a mental health professional. He comes with high regard, has written another book, and his references are pages and pages and pages. So he's dug very deeply with all the research. It's a long book, but it's definitely worth it. You get it on Amazon or anywhere. Also, I was at Tierra del Sol Middle School. They had their Mandarin immersion program, and it was in a room full of very excited kids, full of food, full of sweets, full of soda. It was a lot of fun, I can relate to it, and they were just incredible. All the years of it, you know, I would ask them, I bet you started at Riverview, right, in the Mandarin program? Almost everyone said yes. So some of those kids I met, the older kids in 8th grade, had 6, 7, 7.5 years of Mandarin already, which is just really incredible, that program. I met the sponsors too and the teachers there. Also, I was at Lemoncrest. They had the sheriff department helicopter, sheriff department search and rescue dogs, and the crime specialist who I know very well there, and had all kinds of movies and so forth. I got to talk to the pilots. I filmed it landing when taking off. I just really enjoy aviation. But more importantly, to see those kids, their smiles on their faces, just absorbing these big guys, right, in their khaki outfits and guns and so forth, but talking with the kids on what they do, the good things that they do. So that was really interesting. And I think there's one more, but I just can't rack my brain where I was. So I'll leave it at that. So thank you.
Vice President Allinson.
I have just 2 quick things. I also went to the Interest Generation Book Club, but I wanted to give a shout out to the district PTSA, Crystal Grodner specifically, who worked hand in hand with Michelle Perkins, who's a district employee, and some other district staff to put that together. I think it was a really important event, and it kind of kicked off something that we might want to keep doing in our district. And it was just, it was a great way for district staff, parents, and other community members just to come together and brainstorm ideas, because we're all supporting the same kids, either at home or at school. So it was a really, really neat event, I thought. And then yesterday I got to volunteer at the BizTown with some of our students. And for those of you who don't know what it is, it's basically an accelerated economy simulation. So students work jobs, they get paid, they have to go to the bank, and then they have to spend their money, and they have to balance budgets and make sure they pay off their loans. So that was really fun. The kids love it. I've kind of dubbed it Kids Gone Wild. It's pretty crazy if you haven't been. That was my second time, and it was a really good time. So that's it for me.
Right. So I attended a bunch of stuff at LMS. We had a dance concert. The FFA had a pancake breakfast fundraiser to raise money for their upcoming trip to the state convention. There was a nice band and orchestra concert. I also attended with Ron the Lemoncrest Kindness Week with the local law enforcement, as well as TDS had their STEM night as well. And so went and saw Mr. Tupper had little Alka-Seltzer rockets he was building that I think the kids enjoyed, but the teachers really enjoyed because they were all flocking to make their own little rockets, so that was fun. And then last week we had another wellness committee meeting where we are getting ready for our Race to Wellness, which is coming up. It's going to be a great event the end of March. Besides that, for everybody that's here, we do have an upcoming community event the Chamber is putting on, Touch a Truck. That'll be the first Sunday in March, and I highly recommend everybody comes out. It is at a new location this year, so it is being held at the rodeo grounds, and we have partnered with the Chamber, and we are going to be offering transportation from Lakeside Farms over to the rodeo grounds for free. So I highly recommend everybody goes online, gets tickets, comes to the event. It's great. We're there with our school bus, and it's always a great event. So I highly recommend everybody comes. With that, we are going to move on to our presentations, and we have Christy Summers from Child Nutrition, who's going to give us an update.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. I got a chance to do this last year, so this year hopefully I get a little more information for you. Child Nutrition, we have 10 full-time employees and 31 part-time employees with an operating budget of approximately $4 million. This year we've gotten into this community eligibility provision with universal meals, which means not only do all the children eat for free, we get reimbursed on a higher level. So whatever the federal government does not reimburse us for, the state does. So it's really helped our program greatly. This year, on March 4th through the 8th, we have our National School Breakfast Week, which we all know that kids who eat school breakfast tend to perform better in reading and math. So we want to make sure we get those kids down there. We are currently feeding about 2,600 students per day, or that's 468,000 lunches per school year. 180,000 breakfasts per school year, and our summer service program is about 6,000 meals. So we are getting to the kids these days, and it's really great to see them come down and eat with us. Some of you have seen Oscar. Oscar's our new composter accelerator. It's really, really cool. We will have you over for a visit, but it's cut our food waste down to 1/4 of its size. So if you can imagine this much trash, now it's this much trash, so it's not going to the landfill. In the central kitchen and all the cafeterias around Lakeside, we've reduced our waste to half its size. So all the foodstuffs from the cafeterias come to the central kitchen, we throw it in Oscar, and it comes out in a little tiny thing that looks like soil. And then some parents from Lindo Park come and pick it up and they use it for their gardening. So we actually haven't used our dumpster yet, which it's been absolutely great. It benefits the environment, and the outpost is going to go directly to the gardening soil. We also got a new thing this year for our student field trips and nutrition education. We bought a hydroponic system. So that's a growing system that doesn't use dirt, it uses water and light, and we grow lettuces, cucumbers, and herbs, which are then placed on the middle school salad bars, and we also use it in our recipes. This is an example up here of one of the schools in Lodi that are using it right now. We'll have wonderful pictures like that for you next year. And then I have this from the cooks. Everybody's got something from the cooks. But you can't hear it. Oh no. Use first help. Okay, we'll try. Did you get rid of my thing? Oh no, I think we lost our feed. That's okay, we can go on without it. Anyway, the cooks made us a really great video.
If you go on Lindo Park's website, it's on there.
Yeah. Thanks, Rachel. It's a great video of the kids coming through the kitchen for the field trip. I believe it was the 3rd grade.
Yes.
And they were awesome. We had one little boy that he was so neat. He was so excited about the cutting machines and things. And I wish I could have showed that to you. I'm sorry. Other things that are going on this year is the Wellness Committee on March 28th will be at Lemoncrest doing a Race for Wellness. That will be nutrition and health. We also have the Dairy Council coming, and they're going to do a simulated cow. Like the Live Well bus will be there doing dental hygiene. No real dental work, but they'll come and they'll show the kids how to brush their teeth, eat those little blue things that turn their mouths blue. And it's really neat. We'll play Operation and have a little yoga going on. Other than that, that's what we're doing in the central kitchen. Does anybody have any questions?
And you killed on grants, by the way. You did
Yes.
a great job.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Okay, Dr. Winspear, update on the LCAP.
Christy, would you mind pushing Apple? Thank you, Rachel. Or, yep, that one, and then on. Apple.
I think I did, right?
Okay, I am going to present to you tonight our LCAP mid-year update. And I have a lot of information to share, so I apologize ahead of time that my presentation is about 22 minutes last time I timed it. But here's the deal. What I share with you tonight means it cuts the presentation that I have to give you in June in half. So 20 minutes tonight, 20 minutes in June, instead of 40 minutes in June, and I think it works out, I hope. So I'm going to jump right in, and here is what we're going to cover tonight. We're going to remind you what our LCAP goals and actions are, what the metrics are, how we're measuring our progress towards those goals and actions. I've created a little code because some of our goals we've already met for the year. So if that's the case, there will be a medal with a star on it next to that metric, so you know we've met it. And if we're still working on it, you will see the gear image, just so that you know that is a goal that we're going to continue to work on through the end of the year. And then also we're required to report to you how we're doing with our budget towards our LCAP goals, so we will also briefly cover our spending at mid-year. So as you know, this is year one of a 3-year LCAP. Last year we wrote a new LCAP. So some of our metrics are ready to be reported, some we're still working on. I will share with you at the end of each goal which ones we will not be reporting on tonight, but we will be reporting on in June, just so that you know that we will be reporting on those. So LCAP Goal 1 is that all students will make academic growth in order to reach mastery of grade level standards, individual goals, and the development of our student profile competencies. And in Goal 1, we have several actions, and most of these are actions you've heard about before, or they are all actions you've heard about before, so I'm not going to go into them in great detail. But as you know, we're in year 2 of a partnership with Math Transformations, where we've been providing a lot of professional development for our teachers around math frameworks and roadmaps and common practices. And Math Transformations is actually going to be here next month to give you a presentation about that work, so more to come on that. We've also been working on our reading intervention systems. We also are in year 2 of our Encore after-school intervention program, so I have some exciting data to share with you about that. We've been working really hard on teacher professional development and collaboration through our professional learning communities, our letters training, and then we're also doing letters collaboration and observation. So letters teachers are observing each other and working together outside of the letters program on implementation in their classrooms. We've also been focused on student engagement, as you know, through our instructional rounds, our site goal setting, our professional development focus on engagement of all learners, and then we continue to build, refine, and maintain our multi-tiered systems of support across the district. And an example of that was when Ms. Green presented to you about positive behavior intervention systems, PBIS. That's one big aspect of our MTSS system that we're always working on because we can always do better. So LCAP metric 1.1 is that our winter mean RIT score will meet or exceed the national norms for each grade. So we literally just closed the MAC window on Friday, so this data is hot off the press. Bev was working on it furiously on Tuesday, so I could get it into this presentation by Wednesday. So this is data, our most recent data of how our students are doing. The yellow boxes are the national norms. And as you can see, our students are meeting the national norms for ELA currently with the winter national norms. So this is great because this is predictive of performance on the CAST. So we are excited to see that our students are doing really well on the math assessment mid-year. For math, we are seeing something similar. You can see that we start off really strong in the early grades, and then we're performing just below the national norms at the upper grades. But again, this is good data showing that we're on track to do well on the CAST at the end of the year. So now we're going to go, we also are looking at this data for our student groups. So we'll look in Goal 2 at our students with special needs and our English learners. Here I've pulled out our socioeconomically disadvantaged students. And you can see again that we're starting strong in kindergarten, and then we are approaching the national norms in all other grade levels. And then for math, very similar story. So another one of our LCAP metrics is CAST scores. And keep in mind, the data you just saw is from last week. The CAST data is from last year. So this was the assessment that students took last April, so it's almost been a full year, and unfortunately that's just how CAST data works. You always get it after the end of the school year. So our goal is to be in the green range, which would be considered high. And currently, as a district in English language arts, we are in the orange range, which is considered in the low range. So obviously, this is why we're working very hard on our math and ELA professional development, systems of support for students, because our goal is to be in the green in 3 years. And it's also why we're using the MAP assessment to very closely track our student progress so we can adjust as we go, because this data doesn't really give us a chance to adjust. It's at the end of the year. So for math, district-wide, we are also in the orange, but for our socioeconomically disadvantaged students, we are starting to see some movement in the right direction, which we're hoping is a bellwether for how all students are doing. So our socioeconomically disadvantaged student group is actually in the yellow for math, and that is because while they're still below standard, they are improving or increasing. So you can see there that last year we had 1,186 students that fell within the low socioeconomic range, and that student group is actually improving. So we're super excited to see that. I'm just going to do a quick program highlight for Encore, since it's still a relatively new program and we are still building it, and next year we're looking to expand it to first and second graders. But currently we're providing Encore at 8 school sites. So far this year we've served 177 students. We have had 19 teachers participate in Cycle 1, 21 teachers participate in Cycle 2, meaning teach in Cycle 2. And 13 of those teachers taught last year and came back and joined Encore again this year, which is awesome because it just means that they see value in the program and they're continuing to work in the after-school intervention program. We have provided 2,025 minutes of targeted small group intervention and about 26 weeks of support, after-school support this year. And this is just a measure of our student growth. So on average, students that participate in the program are growing about 7 percentile points in reading, but you can see that, for example, students at Lakeside Farms, 12 percentage points. And then at LMS and Lemon Crest, it's a little lower, but we're seeing overall an average of 7 points gain, which is awesome. In the LCAP, we're also required to report on basic services, things like credentials, access to standards-aligned instructional materials, and our FIT reports for our facilities. So I am happy to report that 100% of our teachers are fully credentialed and properly assigned. 100% of our students have access to standards-aligned instructional materials. I'm an educator, I just like seeing that 100%. It makes me happy. And then we saw some real growth on our FIT tool this year. Christine Rosado has been awesome in coming in and looking at ways for us to do things a little bit differently. So we've been able to move all of our school sites to good, which is a huge improvement from where we were in last year and in the years before. And while Lakeside Middle isn't fair, Christine already has a plan that she is currently executing to bring LMS into the good category next year. So that's awesome because I think our facilities are amazing, and this reflects what a great job our maintenance and operations team have done, and that Lisa has done in ensuring that we're dedicating money to keep our facilities looking amazing and safe for our students. So also we have to talk about core access and ensuring that our English learners and students with exceptional needs, as well as all students, are enrolled in a broad course of study. And we have 100% of our students that have access to a broad course of study here in Lakeside. And we also have the new science assessment. It's only a couple of years old. And we also have our new science curriculum. So we adopted a new standards-aligned science curriculum a couple of years ago, and our students are still getting used to it. Our teachers are still getting used to teaching it. We've provided a lot of PD for elementary and middle school teachers around the new science adoption. And so our goal in the LCAP is to meet or exceed the state average on the CAST assessment. The state average is 30%. This year you can see our students scored 30%. or 37%, and you can also see that our socioeconomically disadvantaged students improved, as well as our English learners, which is awesome. So is 37% good enough for us? No, of course it's not. We are going to continue to work on this. But as you can see, everyone across the state is getting used to this new assessment, and most districts are just now adopting standards aligned materials in science, so it's going to take us a little while to get there. But I'm proud that we've already exceeded the state average here in Lakeside. And then we also have to measure how folks in our system are feeling about our implementation of state standards. And so this is in June, I give you a presentation, and then a week later, Beverly gives you a presentation. And what we have noticed in the measures here around when we're asking our staff, our parents, and our leaders how they are feeling about these things, in every area we have increased, and we'll share exact numbers with you in June. But in other words, more teachers are highly rating our professional development, our instructional materials, the support that they're getting, their implementation of the standards, and our leaders are also feeling like we're hearing them when they say this is what we need. And so I attribute that a lot to our new adoptions, because we've adopted a lot of programs in the last 3 years. And then we've also commensurately provided a lot of professional development around those programs. And I think that folks are feeling really good about their standards aligned curriculum and their professional development across the district. And so in June, I will be reporting to you on metric 1.5 and 1.6, both related to parent involvement, and we want to have a cumulative of parent involvement activities to report to you at the end of the year. And then this is our financial information for our LCAP, and as you can see at the very bottom, we have spent about half the money that we have budgeted towards these LCAP goals, and we're about halfway through the year, so we are right on track to meet what we set out in the budget for goal 1. Goal 2 is almost exactly the same as goal 1, except we are hyper-focusing on our English learners and our students with disabilities, because those are our student groups that are performing below our all-student group, so we're working really hard to help them to improve their academic scores. You already saw this slide because they're the same actions that we did in LCAP, or in goal 1, but really those goals are for all students. So these same actions impact our student groups. But we are adding value in a few ways. One is through the work of our community liaisons, who ensure frequent and timely communication with families and support for students. We have an English learner collaborative where our middle school vice principals are leading teams at both middle schools designed to take a deep look into English learner student data and student experiences, and then create systems of support for those students. We also have been doing a lot of work around evidence-based programs and professional development and special education. So they have adopted some supplemental programs that are in addition to our core reading program that are designed to provide evidence-based intervention in the area of reading and math for our students. And then special education has also been working on increasing professional development for our instructional aides. So looking at our students with disabilities, you can see that the national norms in gold or yellow, and then the performance of our students this winter. So you see that there is a gap. We've spoken about the gap before. There is a gap between where all of our students are performing, because we know that all of our students are performing right at those national norms, our all student group, and our students with disabilities. And then our English learners in reading, something very similar. And then for math, the gap is actually a little bit smaller in math, but it's still there, so we continue to pay close attention to that. And for our English learners, we also see a gap. One of the things that...
Are those national norms for all student groups, or is that a national norm for EL, for instance?
That's for all students,
okay.
Yeah. So those norms stay the same in every slide. Yeah. Good question. So also going backwards, looking at our CAS scores, again, our goal is green, and our student groups are in red for ELA and math. So again, that is why we have a whole goal and a lot of actions dedicated to these two student groups. One of the things that is happening with our English learners is we have been doing a really good job for the last couple of years, and that this has been something that Michelle Perkins has brought to us, is we've been doing, and you have been coming to some of these ceremonies, we've done a really good job of reclassifying students. And they're no longer English learners. So interestingly, this group of students, we're getting new English learners that are coming in, and a lot of them are newcomers who are coming to us with almost none or just a tiny bit of English. So this group of students is kind of shifting, which in a way is great. We're reclassifying students, but it also changes the group of students that it's almost designed where our English learners are always going to be the students who we're trying to help them build language. So that just makes this metric harder, but that doesn't mean we're not still striving to help our students make progress as quickly as possible and become proficient in English as quickly as possible. And then we reclassify them and they fall out of this group, if that makes sense. So, but we also have something exciting happening here. You can see there's a measure on the California dashboard called the English Learner Progress Indicator. And you can see that while our English learners overall on progress are in the orange range, 49% are making progress, we also look at our long-term English learners separately. So long-term English learners are students who have been considered English learners for 6 or more years, so they haven't reclassified as quickly as some of our other kiddos. And so we're really focused on that group of students as well, because we want them to gain skills in English and reclassify. However, we saw this year that 63% of our long-term English learners are making progress, and that student group is in the green. So that means that the efforts that we're making for all of our English learners are working for the LTEL group, and hopefully we will see that across all English learner groups. And then in June, I will present to you about our final reclassification numbers for the year and our English learner proficiency. We're actually starting that assessment this week, so we'll be able to report on that next year, the LPAC, or in June. And then again, similar budget information. It's halfway through the year, and we've spent about half the money. And then LCAP Goal 3, all students will receive support that enables them to thrive socially and emotionally, including the celebration of the diversity within our community and affirmation of the importance of our common humanity. So here we have many actions, including our awesome behavior team, the mental health supports that we provide across the district for all students. We've continued, as I reported earlier this year, it's the second year where every school has written an attendance improvement plan, and we have some really exciting attendance data to share. We've also provided a lot of professional development and collaboration for our teachers. We also continue our focus on student engagement, which is everything from crew, PBIS, and some of the CTE work we're doing, which I am excited to report to you that we, for the 3rd year in a row, have received the Strong Workforce Partnership Grant. So I'll bring more information about that another night when you don't hear so much from me. But Bev has really taken the lead on working with our middle schools on that program and making sure that we could get that grant again so that we can continue to build our career technical experiences for our middle school students. And then again, my favorite thing, MTSS. So school attendance, our goal is to increase school attendance and decrease chronic absenteeism. So here is our mid-year report from our partners at A2A. And so you can see we have, if you start from the right, our end of the year 22-23 positive attendance rate was almost 93%. At the end of 23-24, it was 94%. But looking at about this same time last year, we were at 94.2%, and it's exciting that we were actually able to maintain that, almost that exact score, because this number changes every day, because every day is a new day with new absences. So what our attendance rate is today is not our attendance rate tomorrow, but if we can keep up where we're at right now at mid-year, which is a 94.8% positive attendance rate, we are on track again for the end of the year to move even closer to our goal of 97% positive attendance. And this is the work of our principals and their attendance leadership teams creating all sorts of incentives and communication systems, just so families hear directly from a human being at the school to say, your kiddo's not here today, we missed them, how can we help you come to school? And so, alongside positive attendance going up, chronic absenteeism is going down. So you can see we were at 18.6 and then we went up to 20.5 in 22-23. Last year, we brought our chronic absenteeism down to 16.5%, and currently at the mid-year, as of early February, we were at 13.2. So we are on track to hopefully reduce by 3 percentage points at the end of this year. So school climate, we measure school climate using the California Healthy Kids Survey, and I actually meant to bring the survey results for you just so you could see that it's like an encyclopedia of information that we spend a lot of time looking through. And Patty and I did a lot this year because some of our metrics weren't adding up. So we did a deep dive, and I will tell you a little bit about that when we get to it, and we might make some changes going into next year to make sure that we're measuring what we want to measure, essentially. So percentage of students reporting that they feel connected at school. At 5th grade, we have 71% reporting connectedness at school, and in 7th grade, 54% of our students are reporting feeling connected at school. Our goal is 85%, so this is data that we share with our principals and we will continue to work on. Percentage of students reporting meaningful participation at school. Our goal is 85%, and you know that we have been doing so much work on student engagement. So when Patty and I looked at this data, it was like we're not getting the results that we are hoping for. We're working so hard in this area. So we looked at the tool and we wanted to know this is a composite score, which essentially means that they ask several questions and they take the average to make a score for meaningful participation. So we wanted to see, what are they asking our students? Like, how are our students being asked questions? So some of the questions they're being asked are you given a chance to help decide class activities or rules? Do your teachers ask you what you want to learn about? Do you do things to be helpful at school? Are the teachers and grown-ups at school asking you about your ideas? So while all of those things are important, we weren't really sure that those questions were getting at or appropriately measuring all of the engagement that we've been trying to get from our students. So we looked specifically at one of the questions that we thought would be a better indicator of engagement. And that question stood out to us, and it is, I do interesting activities at school. So that was really what we were after, was students being excited about what they're learning at school. And so for that question, I just want to report that 71% of our 5th graders responded positively to that, and 52% of our 7th graders responded positively. So we think that engagement is actually higher than what this particular score shows. And then students reporting receiving social emotional learning support at school. This one also confused us because here our 5th graders are saying 74%, our 7th graders are saying 11%, and you know how much we've invested in social emotional support at school. So again, we looked back into the tool to look at exactly what is the question that they're asking our middle schoolers. And it is the weirdest thing because elementary school students, they're asking, are you getting support at school? And then the middle school question says, is the school referring you to support outside of school? Which makes absolutely no sense because the measure literally is social emotional learning support at school. So we're gonna look for a different measure here next year because this is not at all measuring what we are. So in a way, I reverse this in my head, which is if we're only having to refer out 11% of our students because we are serving 89% of them during the school day and meeting their needs, that's a good thing. That's what we're trying to do. Now, that's not what this actually is, what I'm making up in my head, right? But at the end of the day, this does not measure what we are doing. What we are doing is far more than providing social emotional support for 11% of our students. Okay, safety. 78% of our 5th graders are reported feeling safe at school, 51% of our 7th graders. We have done so much around school safety. I think we need to have a conversation with our middle school students about what is it that we could do to help them feel safer at school. Our staff are reporting that school is a supportive and inviting place to learn. We met this goal. 97% of staff feel that school is a supportive and inviting place for their students to learn. 90% of staff report that their work environment is a supportive and inviting place for them to work. And staff are also, 87% are reporting that school is a safe place for their students. And then staff reporting that school is a safe place for them, 87%, we've met that goal. And then, of course, we also ask parents a lot of questions on the California Healthy Kids Survey. So parents are reporting that teachers are responsive to their child's social emotional needs, 92% at elementary school, 80% at middle school. I think that's more representative of the hard work that we're doing around supporting our students. Percentage of parents reporting that the school promotes their students' academic success, 93% at elementary school and 89% at middle school. The percentage of students reporting that school is a safe place for their student, 92% of elementary school parents and 81% of middle school parents. And also, just a quick highlight for our student support programs across the district. Our counselors collect a lot of data for us about what they're spending their time doing. So this year at Tier 1, our school counselors have taught over 400 classroom lessons. They have, at Tier 2, provided more than 50 small groups around emotional regulation, friendships, conflict resolution, coping skills, building confidence and responsibility, and more than 100 students have been able to get daily check-ins with a trusted adult through our check-in, check-out program. And then at Tier 3, we've had over 100 students receive one-on-one sessions with the school counselor, and similarly with parent contacts and referrals to services. And then we also have our awesome partnership with Wellness Together. And through Wellness Together, we've been able to serve 130 students during the school day with mental health support. 55% are at our 2 middle schools, and the other 45 are across our elementaries. And then we also provide educationally related mental health services for students that have IEPs, and we've been able to serve 89 students. So that is over 200 students in our district that are getting the mental health support that they need during the school day. And at the end of the year, I will be reporting to you suspension rates, expulsion rates, and dropout rates. And once again, it's halfway through the year. We've spent half the money we've budgeted for Goal 3, so we are right on track fiscally. And that is the end of my presentation. I am happy to answer questions if you have any.
Does anybody have any questions?
Well, just one thing on the student safety point in the middle school, that is interesting. How do they ask that question? Is it the same question that they ask the elementary schoolers?
Well, I didn't bring my encyclopedia with me.
If you can send it to me, that would be
I'd love to
great.
answer that question, and I will send you all an email.
Yeah.
So how are they asking, what is the prompt around school safety
In
for
middle school. Because, one of the thoughts that I would have is in elementary school, perhaps they're, the teachers are all saying in middle school that it's a safe place. And then the kids, so is it online bullying? Is it, what is it? Why do they not feel safe? I would love to know how they're asking the question, because I think that'll give us some indicator of what's going on.
I am excited to, Patty and I will sit down, and there's probably multiple questions that go into that, but we will send that to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I have a question. For the social SED kids, you said that they were increasing or improving at a faster rate than the non-socially economically disadvantaged students?
Let me go back.
And I was just wondering what you think that is. Is it the intervention that they were getting before and after school, you think?
I think it's a combination of all of the different things that we're doing.
Okay.
And what I'm hoping is that it's a sign that it's like a bellwether, or what's the saying when the canary in the coal mine. So it's kind of an early indicator that we are starting to see gains in our overall achievement across the district, and by starting to see growth in some of our harder to reach student groups. Because our all student group is kind of trucking along and doing pretty well overall on the MAP assessment, but then when you start to pull out our socioeconomically disadvantaged and our students with special needs. So I see this as a sign that all of the hard work that we've been doing around having evidence-based, standards-aligned curriculum across the district, making sure our teachers are trained, having intervention systems at all of our schools, the Encore intervention program. I don't know that I can tease out. I also think it's the climate and culture that our school leaders are creating on their campus, like what you saw is happening at Lindo Park, where we're celebrating student success and they're excited to come to school and they feel safe at school. I really don't know that we can say it's one thing. I think it's a combination of everything.
So I have two questions, both relating to budget, one on goal 2 and one on goal 3. It's sometimes something that I then question when we have money set aside for something that we have $0 we've spent on. Is that because it just hasn't come up yet? So one is on our professional development and support for our new teachers for new special education, and then the other on our MTSS, behavior and mental health. We have money allocated, but we have 0 spent.
So on goal 2, the special education curriculum and support for new teachers, we adopted those programs last year, and we were able to get most of the professional development done last fiscal year.
Okay.
So we budgeted the money, but we did a lot of the training at the end of last year, and then in the summer, I think.
August.
Okay.
It was when the teachers were already back on calendar, so we used part of the August PD, and then our TOSA has been able to build that into the work that she's doing so that it becomes a neutral cost for us.
Yes. So we've actually, as we've been discussing the budget, we've actually pulled that out of it's still in our LCAP, but we've recognized that we're not going to spend that this year, and we pulled it out of our budget as a savings because we've been able to do it in other ways. And then goal.
The same on the behavior and mental health.
And then that one's goal 3, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. So the district-wide social emotional curriculum is because we set aside money for several years so that every school could adopt social emotional curriculum, and everyone has something adopted at this point. But we keep it in there because it is an action that we have in terms of everyone is providing a social emotional program for students. It's just not costing us any money. So we budgeted 0, we spent 0. For MTSS and mental health, that I believe is our contract with Wellness Together, and yeah, they haven't billed us. They will, and we'll send them a check for a lot of money.
And sometimes I can totally understand that it's that's why it's like, is it still in process, or why do we have this? Because it's a good size number, so.
Yes.
Okay.
And they are worth every penny. They are amazing. They have been awesome partners for us.
Agreed. Any other questions?
Yeah, couple things. I don't like being the guy who asks about the test scores, but I have to do so in my mind. But it's through a question on the budget. So on our financial goal that I see here, so we have our MTSS and implementation of state standards. In our budget, it was roughly $1.4 million.
Sorry, are you looking at goal 1?
Goal 1, yes, I'm sorry. It was roughly 1.4. Well, I can say $1.5 million. And then the actual was roughly $1.2 million. So there's a gap of $300,000. And when we're looking at scores where we're in the orange and we didn't spend that $300,000 that we may have budgeted, and maybe we did, I don't know. But if we didn't, $300,000 in our district could go a long way to extra supports. So I'm confused with the gap. And you don't have to answer now.
No, I can answer that. The gap is because we're only halfway through the year.
Fine.
So we will spend it all. Don't you worry. I'm really good at that.
Spend it all and ask for more, because we need to do more supports based on our data. So
some of those, when you see if it's tied to employees, we're halfway through the year, so those are salaries. So obviously, we still have the rest of the year to go with the salaries that are going to be taken to staff.
Excellent. That was very helpful. Thank you.
And I want to make one more comment since we're talking about money. There is a new program coming out in the state of California called, oh gosh, I'm not gonna remember,
CYBHI.
Thank you. Essentially, it's a initiative to reimburse school districts for the money that they are spending on mental health services. So we've been supporting these services for several years out of our budget, and we applied at the beginning of this year to be part of, they're doing cohorts. So it's a very lengthy process to be approved. So we submitted all the paperwork last year. We were approved to be in cohort 2, and now we are working on contracts, partnerships, and all of the things that we have to do in order to be fully ready as a school district and have all of the boxes checked so that we can bill back for the services that we're providing. So we are working with Wellness Together. They're going to be having their therapists bill for their services, and our hope is that we will be able to recoup the money that we are spending on mental health services that we would then continue to funnel back into mental health services for students. But it's awesome because that's a lot of money that we're paying out of our budget because our students need it, but we could offset those dollars for other things and get our mental health partnerships paid through with that program.
What kind of dollars are we talking about?
It's on a reimbursement schedule, so
Rough estimates.
I couldn't tell you because we're still in the very early stages of even learning how this works.
Yeah.
But districts in cohort 1 are just starting to see return on their investment, and we don't have full data yet. So, do you know what the percentage is, Patty?
It'll vary depending on the direct service that the student receives.
Okay.
So, for example, Wellness Together will bill for the service that the clinician provides the student, and that will offset what we eventually have to pay. And then we'll do the same for other people in our school district who provide a direct service to the student.
Does that money have to go back into the same special services fund?
I don't know, but we can find out.
It has to, if it's like a Medi-Cal billing
Right.
program, so we have to spend it first out of our funds, and then the billing will go through the process, and then we'll get reimbursed to backfill what we spent out of our general fund.
That's great.
Andrew, I just want to add one thing when you were asking about the academic achievement. I was reading an article just the other day that says nationwide, America has gone down the last 3 years on their academic achievement. California has gone down, but San Diego County has not. And I'm just proud of Lakeside because we have not gone down in the last 3 years. We're not climbing as fast as we were hoping to climb out of the COVID hole, but we still have climbed every single year. So I'm really proud of us compared to the nation. We've done well.
Agreed. I always have to ask because I always want us to do better. All of the kids deserve that.
Yes, yes. And they deserve, I think we're gonna really see some good positive results this year.
Any other questions? No? Everybody's good? All right. I'm going to do a little rewind because I got so excited about presentations. I forgot to see if we had any public comment.
We do not have any
Okay,
public
well,
comment.
then it's a good thing. I just got really excited, so. All right, with that, we're going to move on to our items of business. And for starters, I am looking for a motion to designate our consent agenda items.
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Autumn. With that, any comment, question? Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, none opposed. Is there anything we need to pull?
Shall we pull the delegate assembly?
We will.
2.2.
Anything else?
5.8.
Okay. Anybody else? No? All right. With that, I'm looking for approval of the consent agenda minus 2.2 and 5.8. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. A second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. And any comment on that? No? All right, all in favor of approving with minus 2.2 and 5.8? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. 2.2 is our selection of our candidates for the delegate assembly. There is a packet in the back. Do we have anybody we want to vote for? We can vote for up to 6.
So, having served on delegate assembly, I know some of these folks. I would just say that the two that I'd be the most comfortable with us supporting would be Barbara Ryan from Santee, a longtime school board member. In fact, probably one of the longest elected officials ever in the county. I mean, she's almost been elected like 50 years. So love that woman. But she's fantastic. And then Bob Weller from Escondido is somebody else that I've worked with, I know. So those are the two that I believe I'd be comfortable supporting. Of course, you are all welcome to add others that you'd like.
Does anybody else want to add any?
No, Barbara Ryan was the one.
Right.
I was thinking of, and that was
Me
it.
too. I mean, she's got such a wealth of knowledge in what she does, so. I'm okay with just doing 2 if everybody else is. If everybody wants to add any more in, we can go ahead and do that. No? All right,
Want me to make a motion?
go ahead.
Okay, I motion that we vote for Barbara Ryan, Santee School District, School Board, California School Board Association Delegate Assembly, as well as Bob Weller from the Escondido Union High School District for Delegate Assembly of Region 17.
Perfect. Thank you, Jim. Any further comments on that one? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And 5.8 are gifts to the district. Andrew, did you want to speak to that one since you go?
I did. I just, this year, we always see fantastic, just groups that help us. But the interesting thing about this month is not only they're individuals, but there's different organizations donating to the district, and you don't always see that. So I want to thank all of our PTAs and VFW and Frank Hilker and Kiwanis Club. So all those folks helping us.
Absolutely, I agree. All right, with that, I'm looking for a motion to approve the gifts to the district.
So moved.
Thank you, Andrew. A second. Thank you, Autumn. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No? Good. All right, we are moving on to our discussion items. The enrollment report for month 5 is in your packet. Anybody have any questions on that? And also the quarterly investment reports were in there for you to review. Any questions on that one? Okay. We have added back in legislative updates now that everything is back up and running in our government. I think this is kind of important for us to keep looking at it, so I'm kind of gonna let Andrew take the lead on this one since it was his baby.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think it's always helpful for members of the public and others, and when there's hot topics and things that are going on at the federal level and or state level,
and we get involved in.
That we get involved in them and such. And so, I've been very present recently, speaking personally about my feelings on some of the executive orders from the federal government, which I support many of them. But I think also that this is an opportunity for the board to discuss if we choose or want to pursue action. Same thing with the state level. There's a lot of new bills coming through from the state level right now. They're starting to bring that back. But then there was another idea that I just wanted to kind of float for the board to consider and for us to have further discussion about as we move forward. One thing that I've seen in other government agencies has been, for example, the County of San Diego and or city councils, is they put together what's called board letters, which means, let's say if I as a board member wanted to have us change a policy, I would submit that within our policy timeline to staff, and then it's posted on the agenda, and then it's discussed at this point in time where it says, let's say I wanted to change board policy 85121, whatever, then I would put in a note in the background, and then what would happen is, because staff would have it within the reasonable timeline for us to make the change, they could respond to, well, this is what the legal impact would be, this is what the impact of this policy would look like, this is what the impact would be here, and I think that would be helpful for us because what happens to us at this point is we're just kind of told by CSBA what policies to look at, And I think that this is a way for board members who'd like to be proactive with a way that doesn't bury staff in tons of work. It's just saying, hey, here's what we're trying to ask, and it gives it within that timeline that we already set in board policy. So if the board is interested in something such as this, my thought would be that we could bring back our board policy that kind of has our legislative purpose as the board, or our communications purpose on our taking positions on things, and we could amend it to suggest this process so that it would go into what our deadline is for submitting information to the staff. You know, I think it's a week before the board meeting, or 9 days, whatever it is. But I think, you know, that's just something to consider for discussion if interested. But I think it would help if board members have specific policy statements or questions they'd like to make.
Yeah, it's something, when we do some of our classes at CSBA and in the Masters in Governance, policy is a whole day. And actually their recommended best practice is a policy committee that constantly is looking at policies. But the alternative is this mechanism, which may be easier than a standing committee that keeps going, because sometimes we don't need that, but having it have to be researched out of here's what I'm looking at, here's why, here's everything, and then it goes. I think it's a great mechanism for us to be more involved, because lately it does feel like everything comes from CSBA and we're just rubber stamping, and that's not our purpose, is to just rubber stamp policy that comes from somewhere else. So we should also be looking at what fits for our community, because it is different than, Santee, and it's different than LA, and so I do like the thought of it, and I think we should look further into it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And listen, I don't want to say I'm opposed to a committee. I like committees, but I mean, at the same time, though, that may only be needed, if there's a policy, a larger policy.
I think this is more of a better mechanism for us, I think, than creating a whole other committee. Any other updates or anything from you? Okay. So we do have one, if everybody is not aware, prior, we have talked about and written a letter on the county cannabis social equitable portion. That EIR is coming up, and they are having a county meeting at the library on the 25th of February. So it's an open house with comment. There is comment that you can make online, but if anybody wants to look at the next steps of that, that is 5:30 at the library on the 28th of February. So I will be there with the Chamber of Commerce, and so just thought I'd add that in.
And in fact, on that, I received a call last week from someone who has funding for more rural school districts on cannabis prevention and education, and they would like to do that here. So I'll be forwarding that along to the team once I receive details. So
That's the county library downtown?
No, that's our Lakeside
Oh.
library. Yep, just across the street. So it'll be in the community room.
Okay.
All right, we are at first reading of Board Policy 5030 on student wellness. Is there any questions or comments on that? No? All right, so we will bring that back. Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 3100 on budget.
that was an easy one.
There's no comment. All right, so that will come back to us next month for approval. Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 3280 on the sale or lease of district-owned real property. Questions?
No questions. I would like for us as staff to sit with me and go through some of the implications of it from just previous conversations I've had with the team.
And then we have Board Policy 3320, Claims and Actions Against the District, which also we have the removal of AR 3320. Any questions or comments on that?
Nope.
No?
That's pretty straightforward.
No? back next month for us. And then Administrative Regulation 5116.1 on inter-district open enrollment. No questions, no comments? Okay, that will also, all of that will come back to us for approval next month. That we are going to move on to reports to the board. We have Carrie Strong with LTA.
Hello, everybody. Happy February. Okay, so tonight I'm going to start big and then I'm going to go small. So I'm going to highlight some of the amazing work that our educators have been doing in the state of California, and we're going to get smaller down the lakeside. So the wildfires up in LA have deeply impacted our members, not just because the fires were in our neighboring county, but also because we have our own experiences with fire and devastation. Down here, we have members who've lost their own homes in fires that we've had previously in San Diego County, and we understand how frightening it is to have to evacuate, not knowing if you're going to come back, and then worrying about your home, your family, and also your school family on top of that. So our union comes together, and we support our members. The California Teacher Association has always had a they call it the CTA Disaster Relief Fund. So a portion of our local dues go towards this relief fund regularly. And then when there is a disaster, our members are able to seek and request, they're like grants that they can request from CTA. And it's nearly immediate funding that can help them with many things that, you know, are not fully covered or not covered at all by insurance, or that there's so much red tape to get through before you can get that coverage from insurance. So it's really a blessing to our members who are in need of that. Additionally, our LTA local members donated individually. You can always contribute more than just your small portion that usually goes. And so we have members reaching out and donating to that as well. And then CTA as a whole has organized a database for all of our members to access the GoFundMe accounts for all of our teachers that have been impacted in LA. So we know that they're vetted, we know that they're not scams. Like you have like a resource where you know that you're contributing to the right people, or you know, to the people that you're actually thinking you're donating to, right? Just to keep everything clean for everybody online. And then the big thing that people are always jumping at the bit is like, when can I bring things to help these schools and classrooms rebuild? And they've those teachers have communicated with us like, not yet, like we need that, but just wait. And so everybody's kind of just chomping at the bit, waiting for that, you know, green light to, you know, start donating through those needs as well, because we want to have those classrooms back for all of those kids that were impacted. So I think it was about 9-10 schools that were impacted, and I mean, when you compare that to Lakeside, those are all our schools, right? And so that's like a huge group of children that was impacted by this. So our heart always goes out to that. So okay, and so then coming down into like our kind of more like our local area, what we're doing right now is we've been focusing a lot on supporting our new teachers, because we really want people to stay teachers. We love this career and we want to keep people excited and you know, in partnership with our district supports, be able to also support them as colleagues. And one of the ways that we have prioritized doing that is awarding grants to some of our new teachers to be able to receive professional development. And so next weekend is the New Educator Weekend Conference, which is for teachers that are specifically in the first 3 years of teaching. And they get to go to workshops that have everything from classroom management, creating engaging lesson plans, hands-on ideas and info on project grants that they're able to apply for, and lots more tips and tricks for being a good teacher. So we're happy to connect those people with those resources too. And then a super special group that I want to honor tonight is our school counselors at our own schools, because last week was School Counselor Week, International School Counseling Week, and all of our schools recognized their counselors in various ways, and a lot of them received hundreds and hundreds of notes from their students saying, you know, they had opportunities. The teachers got together and gave our kids opportunities to write their counselors' notes, and so I know that that is so special to get those handwritten notes from those kids that you interact with. And so I also just want to thank you as a board for continuing to support our students through focusing on their needs as a whole child, and in turn then supporting our school counselors who can help do all of that good work that they do at our schools with connecting with their families and building those connections with our schools. And it just makes such a positive environment at our schools when we're able to do that. And so our school counselors work real hard, and a lot of it kind of goes unnoticed because it's not out on a stage and it's a lot more individualized, but there's a lot that goes into that. And so I just want to give a big shout out to them. So that's good work that they're doing, yay. And then finally, because Linden Park was their spotlight tonight, I have to give a shout out to that staff, as well as their principal. And I'm a little biased because I've been a teacher at Linden Park since 2006, so I do think we are one of the best schools on this side. But aside from that, just looking at our staff, and so because I have been at that school for that long, I can without a doubt guarantee that that staff has always done what's best for kids. That is like the core question that we ask at all of our staff meetings and all of our decision making is this best for kids? And it's not how can we make it best for kids. And Tessa joined our team, our Falcon Squad, in the middle of the pandemic, which is a crazy time to become a principal. And she has just really united and led our staff through that, and then supported the staff in doing what's best for kids when people come up with, wild and fun ideas, and she's like, yes, how can we make this happen? As well as supporting everybody to focus on those really rigorous academic goals that we have for our kids that we're seeing some great returns on in these last few years, so we're excited about that. And then just our amazing clubs that are being able to be put together to get our kids wanting to show up at school are just really powerful. And I don't know, I got all teary with our kiddos singing up here tonight just because their excitement to come perform for you was just tremendous, and they've been chattering about it for weeks, and so it was so sweet when I went home. They were like, I did it, and it means that is one of the reasons why we do what we do, because those kids, they showed up at night to a bunch of adults, but they also showed up to school with that love, because they're loving what they're doing. And so thank you for supporting our principal so that she can support our staff, so that then we can have these kids who feel loved and supported to do what they love to do. So thank you, and that was my big small tonight. Have a good night.
Thank you, Jerry. And I do not see David, so we will move on to our updates. Lisa Davis.
Just real quick, I just want to give a shout out to Brona tonight for showing up and appreciate that their board showed up and to support the renewal of their charter. We'll be bringing it to March 13th board meeting for our board's consideration and the approval of the charter for the next 5 years, but they really have. We've been working with them, and they've made leaps and bounds in the program up there, and staff is really doing good things. And then next month will also be our second interim, and Samantha and I have been going to the governor's budget meetings and hearing what's the proposal for next year and stuff. So I'll just give an update at that point in time when I do the budget, the second interim budget next month. That's it.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is there a mechanism or a way that the district can support the CTA disaster fund as a district?
Carrie, would you know?
There's just anybody can donate, there's a.
I understand individually, but as a district, is there a mechanism?
Well, I don't know district-wide, but they accept, there are other companies and organizations that have donated directly to it.
I can look into it. I don't believe as a district gifting public funds.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys can do that, but.
I'm just wondering how we can help promote that, or put that out there, or assist with however we can. I mean, obviously individually, if we're interested, we can do that, but maybe not actually putting money in
Funds,
first,
but like our social media or something, putting something out.
It really did resonate what you said, because as a community here in Lakeside, we've been through this. And we know the devastation. I think that there's a way that we can help promote that to, you know, the parents or the staff or, you know, whatever, to try to assist and help out those teachers up there.
Or any of those funds, I mean, possibly we could put it on our website too.
Right, or an infographic that we can add to Instagram or something to get that in. Yeah? Yeah. Okay.
We can connect with Lisa, then we can see what would be appropriate.
Lisa, I had 2 questions for you. The first is regarding the ADA impact, if any, from our shut-off, the power safety shut-offs that SDG did, and we had to shut schools for those couple of days. I presume there'll be ADA impact.
Yes, there will. There's a form called the J13 that anytime we have any kind of state emergencies or our enrollments impacted by, I think, 20% or 10% of the school site. We fill that out. What we're doing right now is we've started filling out the J13. We're not going to submit it till end of year because you can pull and wait on it because we're just waiting to see if we have any more. So we would rather wait till the end of the school year and then turn it in to get hopefully reimbursed for those that lost ADA.
And they reimburse it in full.
Hopefully.
The reason I asked that is because I got a call from someone in Sacramento who said, hey, you know, this is impacting you guys, and I said it is, and I said it'd be nice if we didn't have to shut down at all, and, you know, could we do a public-private partnership with SDG&E to figure out how to not do that, and so we were just talking about, well, if we get reimbursed, it's not necessarily a money issue, so I'm just trying to understand, you know, the gist in general, so that was helpful. And then secondarily, you mentioned that the renewal for Verona is coming back next month, correct? Okay. Yeah. Thank
you. In Dr. Winspear's presentation on the LCAP, I just wanted to thank staff for the 100% on the staffing. Highly qualified teachers are essential in all of our classrooms, and counselors and everyone in the certificated world. And I want to thank specifically Lisa Mendoza and her work with the county and my predecessors who contributed to that certification, as well as some small minor contribution I might have made this year, because you know, there's a lot to teacher credentialing, a lot more than the average person ever wants to know and should know, and that's cool, because it keeps me employed, so I'm doing it. But it is a lot of hard work to staff, and I want to appreciate and thank her publicly, and then we're excited. We're going to be moving on with our selection of our Teacher of the Year and our Classified of the Year, so we'll be making that selection very soon. And we'll be able to announce that and celebrate those folks on behalf of both chapters collectively. So that'll be fun. And then taking a look at down the road at our, we're in process right now, surveying our certificated staff regarding their intent for next year, and gathering those who will be returning, gathering those who will be retiring, gathering those who have intent to possibly change, you know, their full-time status to part-time, et cetera. So we'll have more final numbers when that's concluded and have a report and be ready to talk about that down the road late spring as part of our contractual requirements. But other than that, still lots of stuff I don't talk about, and it's great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Winspear.
So very quickly, I just want to report that we had a wonderful professional development day for our teachers and classified staff on January 31st. We did a lot of different things with a lot of different subject areas, but overall the feedback that we received from the surveys that we did was very positive. And then we have our third district-wide PLC coming up in a couple weeks on February 26th. and our teachers will be having their final PD collaboration day around our new history social science curriculum.
Dr. Taylor.
Okay, I just wanted to, it's a little bit closer, I just wanted to stick with the Lindo Park thing, and they talked about how they celebrate student achievement whole school, how they celebrated out at their Friday pledge and things like that. But one teacher created a really cool graphic for her students, and I wanted to share that. Teachers are really keeping their focus on academic growth and celebrating that with students, setting goals, having the students set their goals for themselves so that it's very personal to them. And so we are really, really working on that academic achievement right now. That's it.
Thank you. All right, with that, we are going to go back into closed session. Thank you.
May we take a brief recess so I can run
Let's
through my...
take a 5-minute break, and then we will head back to the closed session.
I have to wait.
Rachel and I will.
You have to take
I got Larry's flashlight.
Oh, okay.
Is this the restroom break?
Yes.
Where we go? Okay, I'm gonna do that and I'll be right there.
Yes.
Thank you.
You have 5 minutes, you're good.
Okay, thank you.